So, it's interesting. Is sometimes I'll make a prediction, or you will make a prediction, or Joy or John will make a prediction. And it just takes a while for it to happen, right? I always joke my wife, she'll walk into a restaurant and she'll be like, 6 weeks, it's not going to work. Feng shui's bad, because she used to work in that industry. And, the restaurant will survive for a while, but over time, she has the ability to kind of, having been in that business, go, this doesn't work, the menu's off, the bathrooms aren't clean. It's going to be about 6 weeks to 8 weeks and it'll fold. And I felt like with the Seattle Seahawks, the first month of the year, first 5-6 weeks of the year, my prediction was this franchise now doesn't do much well outside of Russell Wilson. He's the life preserver on a failing organization. Now, finally, week 9, you see Seattle. They're becoming what I thought they would become. That's why I like the Rams this weekend. Ask yourself, what do they do well outside of Russell Wilson? The Rams do a lot of things well. They're clever offensively. I mean, I'm not sure there's a team in the NFL deeper at tight end and wide receiver than the LA Rams. They're 31-0 when they lead at half, McVay is. They play well from behind. They play well from ahead. They have the best fourth quarter defense in the NFL. They have the best corner in the league, the best defensive tackle in the league. The Rams do a bunch of things well. If Goff had to sit, they have the best punter in the league. If they had to sit Goff for 2 weeks, you figure they could win a game. Could Seattle win a game in this league without Russell Wilson? Pete Carroll's defense, that cover 3 now, is obviously, the league has figured it out. They gave away the farm to get Jamal Adams, a player I like, but he's a safety. Their last 2 first-round picks, one, Rashad Penny's an absolute bust at running back, and the linebacker from the Big 12's not playing much. What do they do well? You tell me, because I don't see it. So you can blame Russell Wilson, but this happens all the time. I used to say this about the late Kobe Bryant when Shaq left. Kobe wanted to be the man. He didn't want to be the only man. They had to get him Pau Gasol. If you have a good corner like the Rams do, and you can shut down DK Metcalf, what do you rely on? The running backs are always hurt. The tight ends aren't dynamic. The offensive line is very mediocre outside of left tackle. They have no pass rush. They don't have a lockdown corner. They've got a couple of great defensive players, but there's 11 guys on the field. They've got 2 stars. What do they do well? The Rams have better special teams. The Rams have a better offensive line. The Rams have a deeper wide receiving, running back, and tight end core. The Rams, I think, have a much better offensive coach. This is what I thought Seattle was going to be this year, which is good, but not special. I've had 2 NFL GMs tell me this in the last 2 years, and these are good GMs. These are loaded rosters. We can never figure out what the hell Seattle's doing on draft day. What are they doing? It makes no sense. And Bucky Brooks came on last week, and we talked about Pete Carroll's defense, which, by the way, it's gotten progressively worse year after year. Here's what Bucky said about it.
When the Seattle Seahawks went on that glorious run early in the 2010s, when their defense, the Legion of Boom, was playing at a high level, they did something that was unconventional. They played a cover 3 system that was very simple. It was something that you would see in high school games on every Friday night, but they did it better than anybody else. When you see the Seattle Seahawks have success, every team in the league started stealing from that. So now more teams get used to seeing that scheme. More teams get used to understanding how to defeat that scheme. And so you have to continue to evolve.
Seattle is 1-3 against winning teams because winning teams, Buffalo, Arizona, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Kansas City, winning teams do multiple things well. Miami, great special teams, terrific defense. What does Seattle do well? Russell Wilson will take the heat today. He is a life preserver. I don't think this team can win a game in this league. Kansas City lost Mahomes last year for games. They can win games. They're still competitive. I've seen Miami win games this year with Tua and Ryan Fitzpatrick. I don't think Seattle wins a game in this league without Russell Wilson. Go ahead, blame him. What do they do well? Kansas City does multiple things well. Steelers, Miami, Buffalo. Russ is cooked. If you have a good corner and it can take DK Metcalf out, Russ is cooked. All right, so Lamar Jackson, one of the reasons people don't like to take risks or chances is because if it fails, people will call you an idiot. People are afraid of being called out. So most Americans take a safer path. And that's okay. That's if that's good for your anxiety levels, you just don't want to get ripped. But you want to know how you get rich in America. And I don't just mean financially rich, but how you get rich and enriched is taking chances, separating yourself from the pack. Now, even the biggest risk takers, the Elon Musks, the Steve Jobs, have failed massively. But Baltimore takes this risk with Lamar Jackson, right? He's a better runner than a thrower. And a lot of people want to be right. And every time Lamar loses, it doesn't work. It does not work. But yet Josh Allen loses, who is more like your classic quarterback, big arm, mostly throws. We're okay. I never hear anybody bail on Josh Allen. Lamar Jackson lost to Bill Belichick in a monsoon in Foxborough. Why would I change my opinion on him? I look at the stats. He was good on third down. He dominated time of possession. He was 24 of 34 and a 99 quarterback rating. He lost to Bill Belichick in a monsoon. Okay. This is interesting, though. So, first of all, Belichick deserves credit. He had Buffalo on the ropes 2 weeks ago, and he just beat the Ravens, and he was a play from beating Seattle in Seattle earlier in the year. New England's not tanking. Belichick's good enough to win games. But here's a prime example. There's a lot of things I worry about with young quarterbacks. Sam Darnold can't stay healthy. Baker Mayfield, their coaches have taken the ball out of his hands. I worry that Joe Burrow will never get support in Cincinnati. I worry that Justin Herbert, the owners, will never pay $9 million a year for a big-time coach. I don't worry about Lamar. He's dynamic. He's passionate. He works hard. He's pissed when he loses. He's got a good coach, a great owner, Steve Busciotti. They have a very good defense, and they draft exceptionally well. I don't worry about him. But it's funny because the more conventional quarterbacks, we don't dump on as much. But here's what's interesting. So Lamar has faced Belichick twice. And in my lifetime, no coach gives young quarterbacks worse games than Belichick. In fact, it's not even arguable. I think he's 28-3 against the rookie quarterbacks in the last 20 years. Josh Allen of Buffalo, and everybody's still in on Josh, has faced him 4 times. He's been awful 3 of them and bad once. He faced him 2 weeks ago. Josh Allen 2 weeks ago, no touchdowns, a pick, a 65 passer rating, 11 for 18. You didn't bail on him. Lamar has faced him twice. Last night, Lamar goes 24 of 34, 250 yards and a 98 quarterback rate. Well, I mean, in a monsoon. But it just goes to show you, this is why people don't take chances. Because with Lamar, every time Lamar has a bad game, y'all bail on him. It's like, I worry more about Joe Burrow ever getting legitimate support. Cincinnati's an organization that refused. I don't even know what the latest is. They wouldn't even build an indoor practice facility. Have you seen the weather in Ohio? We're not even to December yet. They wouldn't build. There was a high school, Moeller High School is a legendary football program in Cincinnati. Legendary high school football program. They once had a coach, Jerry Faust, Notre Dame hired from high school. They had an indoor practice facility. The Bengals didn't. I worry about Joe Burrow getting support. Listen, I live in Los Angeles. I know the people. I know the Spanos family. I know all this. But I worry about them committing fully to a world-class coach or finding the next Brian Flores or Joe Judge. I don't worry about Lamar. Lamar's fine. He's different. I thought he threw the ball in a monsoon. He worked better than 90% of the windshield wipers worked last night in New England. But it's funny that when you take a chance and something's a little different, every time he struggles or loses, I didn't think he struggled last night. He just lost. They couldn't finish drives. We bail on him. And to me, this is why people don't take chances. Because if you do, and by the way, nothing's linear. I mean, even if you take the classic quarterback, the Peyton Manning, the Eli Manning, the classic pocket quarterback, they have bad games, bad years, bad stretches, but nobody calls you out for it because that's the safe pick. That's what we know. That's history. But if you take something that moves a little, throws a little quirky, is a little different, who runs a little, man, the Wolves come out every loss. And I look at Josh Allen, he's awful against Belichick. I look at Lamar Jackson, who's younger than Joe Burrow, and I'm like, oh, he's good against Belichick. He's fine. He's 1-1. It's not man overboard. He's never unraveled. He's different, But listen, as Cam Newton said after the game, Belichick, he's just good. And he's really good in monsoons at home. Joey and I talked about this Friday. You just knew all week that Cam and the Patriots, no chance. Baltimore's going to roll them. Cam was efficient. New England did what New England did. There's never been a game that I can remember that I watched the weather as it started. And I thought, oh, this is going to be, this is literally that Belichick, if he was a meteorologist, a globologist, or whatever they call people, if he was a Doppler, if he was a human Doppler, he literally, that is the weather that you would want in New England to beat the Baltimore Ravens. You couldn't see. It's perfect New England weather. Lamar's fine. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.